Good afternoon. It's Frances Storytime from the Umlauf Sculpture Garden and Museum. Hope y'all are having a great afternoon, and let's get started. Today we're going to read Through Georgia's Eyes. It's all about Georgia O'Keeffe, an artist that many of you may know, or you may not know her name, but you might know her work. And I bet some of these family members who are gathered today will recognize works. I was inspired to share Georgia O'Keeffe because this is one of my books called Georgia O'Keeffe in Texas, OKeeffe in Texas. And you all can go research her work and her work here in our state and make the connections I did. I'm also talking about the Georgia O'Keeffe theme because this upcoming June Shaping Space at Home virtual programming is called Living Color. We've done these Shaping Space programs in April and in May, and our new one is called Living Color, and it involves shape and color and how nature inspires artists to create. And I can't think of many other artists who have been inspired by nature in so many ways than had Georgia O'Keeffe. So let's get started. Again, I will read and then show you some pictures. Through Georgia's Eyes by Rachel Rodriguez, illustrated by Julie Paschkis. And a note about these illustrations. The illustrator notes that she wanted to quote specific paintings and photographs of Georgia O'Keeffe's works, but I didn't want to try to recreate her paintings, so she translated the images into cut paper collages. So this medium that the illustrator uses references Georgia O'Keeffe works, but again, they're not her works, they are just referencing. And the cool thing about this cut paper collage work is that y'all could do these at home. It says here, I painted sheets of paper in graduating color using acrylic paint and then cut out shapes and glued them down in layers. So something to consider if you wanted to use this book as inspiration to make your own art at home. Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, 1887. That is when Georgia O'Keeffe was born. Georgia's first memory. She will always remember these colors and the brightness of light. Light all around. There's Georgia O'Keeffe as a young child sitting on a blanket, looks like made of stars. Soon Georgia runs and plays games with her brothers and sisters. Her father gives her sweets and plays Irish tunes. Her mother reads stories and cares for the younger children. Everyone works hard on the farm. Georgia roams the prairie. The trees and land keep her company. Pencil and sketch pad comfort her. She discovers she likes to be alone. Seasons melt into seasons on her family's farm. Georgia struggles to show on paper what she sees. So there are Georgia's siblings on the prairie in Wisconsin on the farm. And there's Georgia running ahead with her art supplies in hand. At 12, Georgia takes painting lessons. She tells her friend, I am going to be an artist. But in 1899, when Georgia's 12, only boys become artists. A girl wishing to be one is scandalous. Georgia sees life differently. She paints and paints. Hours pass without notice. She wonders if she can achieve her dream. And here we have an at-home scene of Georgia and one of her sisters. And here we have Georgia referencing the apples that are there on the table, that still life of the apples, And then she's using that still life as inspiration for her painting. Georgia walks around a lake and hikes into the woods. Everywhere she looks, shapes hum and sing to her. It's pretty amazing to think about the shapes speaking to her, as in, she hears them. At art school, brushes and canvas become her language. Paint speaks for her. Watercolor and oil are her words. Here's a very beautiful illustration of Georgia O'Keeffe there above a lake and the horizon of the mountains echoed in the form of a lake, and down below at the bank and maybe a gathering of flowers. And there's Georgia using her paintbrush. For a time, Georgia lives in the city. She walks through canyons of concrete. She misses the outdoor world. The sun steals a bite from a skyscraper. The faraway place, open sky and land, calls her. Georgia O'Keeffe was also known for depicting city life, as in the skyscrapers, but yet could not get away from the natural world impacting the city life. You can see this big yellow starburst here taking a bite out of the skyscraper. She lived in New York for a time. But what she missed was the natural world. So there's the sun over those drifting clouds with the sky in the background. Georgia's flowers make them feel through the universe of her garden. Those are the butterflies. Well, here's Georgia painting the flowers. And these are very peculiar butterfly people that take flight among the ginormous flowers that she paints. Georgia moves to Ghost Ranch in New Mexico. Red hills, cliffs, silence, and the far away surround her. They've actually capitalized the word far away. I'd like to do some research on that. In the desert, she discovers extraordinary things, skulls. The bones don't frighten Georgia. To her, they are alive and strong. Their beauty astounds her. So in addition to painting flowers in the natural world in color, she also paints because she notices the skulls among the landscape. So there we go, the skulls. There's Georgia. And Georgia wearing her signature attire. She's not only dressed in black, she's got this cool black hat. There is Georgia's car moving into the landscape of New Mexico. The trees and hills whisper their secrets. They are friends, always there for her. Remember, she liked to be alone, but yet being alone in a landscape for her was not being alone. A canyon calls her. From the bottom at dusk, she sees a long line of cows above, black lace against a dusky sky. I like this picture. Well, here's the trees in the forests, and then this picture shows way up here at the top, right there, these cows on the horizon. So things have got different perspectives. She paints from a different perspective. Georgia hikes at dawn. She climbs a ridge. The land enchants her. A range of hills is a mile of elephants with white sand at their feet. New Mexico's a very curious place. So much to see. And when I'm reading this book, I'm thinking Land of Enchantment is New Mexico's motto, I believe. There's Georgia way up there on top of a ridge. Sometimes her Chow Chow, her dog, tags along. He hops around rocks and chases antelope. They float ahead of her yelping dog. Georgia follows them. She breathes in the dawn. A sea of sage covers the plain before a mountain, like waves lapping against a shore. So Georgia even sees an image of water in the desert, the sage lapping against the shore. A sea of sage lapping against the shore, against the mountain. Sometimes Georgia climbs a ladder to her roof. The moon rises above. Beneath a giant canvas of inky night and silvery stars, Georgia dreams. There's that page, and there's this page. There's Georgia dreaming underneath the half moon. Even now, Georgia can show you the world as she sees it. Open your eyes and walk along. See the colors? Hear the shapes singing? This is why I think this book goes so well with our theme, living color, because here we've got these children who are carrying on in the vision of Georgia O'Keeffe, this large-scale skull up there floating above, inspiring the next generation of young artists to see nature as inspiration. No need to hurry. Lean in. Look closer. Closer still. There. The wideness and wonder of the world. And there's Georgia as an older woman, still in tune with the natural world. And that's the large image of a shell, possibly. So that is through Georgia's eyes. There is OKeeffe in Texas. If any of you all would like to learn more, pick up or find this reference. And finally, big news from the Umlauf. Just want you to know, if you're a member, you can come to the Umlauf next Tuesday, June 2nd. We open to members. We've got all sorts of safeguards in place. We've got a new way, a very safe and very delightful way to walk through the garden. We're going to have our garden path open. We will keep all the safe distancing. We will allow a certain number of visitors in the garden at a certain time. And limiting the visitors will keep the garden safe for you, will get you into the garden and able to enjoy what you've missed the last couple of months. Things are really popping. It's been beautiful out there, I hear, and the rain, I'm sure, has kept things growing, and the paths and the sculptures along the paths will be waiting for you. So June 2nd through 5th, members of the Umlauf can go online and get tickets ahead of time. Again, 30 people at a time. And then for those who are not yet members, June 6th, we will open to the public. And we are so excited to be the first cultural arts institution to open in Austin. We know we can do it very safely because of the beautiful environment that we have access to, it being outside. We will not open the gallery, but again, the garden, where so many of our Umlauf works have existed and are waiting to see you, will be there for you. June 2nd, if you're a member, go online and join. And if you're not, and not able to join at this time, you can come starting June 6th. Again, shaping space for those who would like to start June 1st. This will be available for families to access online. So thank you so much for tuning into this virtual program for Storytime, and thanks for supporting the Umlauf, and we will see you in the garden soon.